At 8 years old, she sat in a classroom built for girls in a country where millions of girls were still denied an education. Her father had founded the school himself. Her name was Chien-Shiung Wu, and she would grow up to break a law of the universe. In 1936, at 24, she boarded a ship to America to study physics. Her parents waved from the harbor. She would never see them alive again. At Berkeley, she became one of the most gifted experimental physicists of her generation. It was not enough. She was a woman, and she was Chinese, and no major research university would offer her the faculty position her work deserved. So she made herself impossible to ignore. During the Second World War, the Manhattan Project brought her to Columbia, where she worked on the separation of uranium isotopes. And when a giant plutonium reactor began mysteriously shutting down every few hours, scientists turned to data from her research to understand why. By the 1950s, physicists had a saying: if an experiment was impossible, take it to Wu. They called her the First Lady of Physics. At Columbia, she still had to demand the same professional respect and pay given to men doing comparable work. In 1956, two young theorists, Li and Yang, asked a heretical question: does the universe really treat left and right as identical? Physics had treated the answer as settled for decades. Someone had to test it. Wu had tickets booked on the Queen Elizabeth, her first journey home to China in 20 years. She gave up the trip and walked into the cold room instead. For months, she and her collaborators cooled cobalt-60 to a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, working through the final nights of December. Then the particles flew in the forbidden direction. The mirror of the universe cracked. Left and right were not the same, and physics would never be the same again. 10 months later, the Nobel Prize in Physics went to Li and Yang, the men who had posed the question. The woman whose experiment answered it was not included. Not that year. Not ever. Did she stop? No. She kept rewriting the textbooks and then challenged the institutions around her. She demanded equal treatment at Columbia and became the first woman ever to lead the American Physical Society. When the Nobel Committee never called, the physics world answered in another way. The first Wolf Prize in Physics went to her. In 1973, she finally returned to China. Her parents were gone. The harbor where they had waved goodbye was 37 years in the past. She died in 1997. Today, her experiment is taught in physics classrooms around the world. In 2021, the United States put her face on a postage stamp, 64 years after the prize that never came. Her ashes were buried in the courtyard of the school her father founded, the place where a little girl first learned that she was allowed to ask questions. The universe, she proved, knows left from right. History needed more than 6 decades to learn the same.